he just can't claim it. Cause they left him no platforms to explain it. He frustrated, so he get faded. But deep down inside, he know you can't.
Hey y'all, it's your boy Ace Billions here with the Billionaire Mafia Podcast, where we encourage and shine the light on investors and entrepreneurs. Today, we're talking about the biggest and the most powerful asset in the world, real estate. And I got Monica here with me to assist. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Monica. Where you from and what you do?
Well, you already know that, but they don't. Thank you for having me. My name is Monica. Monopoly Monica, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, by the way.
Hey.
So I am here today because, well, we're partners. We'll get into that. But I got into real estate because I went through a divorce and I was living in a house that I didn't want to live in anymore after that. And I stayed there for a few years until finally I was done being sad, and also I got robbed. And that was kind of like the little kick that I needed to just get the fuck out of there. Yeah, so that was the little kick that I needed to make a change. And I was scared, I was alone, and I wanted to get out of there. But also I wasn't happy, so I had to do something. So I had a garage sale every single weekend, and I got rid of all the crap. The house was good. It was beautiful. I lived there for 10 years, fully furnished. I didn't feel like getting rid of furniture and doing all the stuff of moving things. Like, I just didn't feel like doing that. So I just decided one day that I was going to make an Airbnb.
Wow.
I'm on Instagram like most people are, and I saw someone on Instagram that was doing it, and I was like, well, this looks like an Airbnb. My house looks like an Airbnb. I, fixed a few things, made it more Airbnb friendly, and then that's what I did. And then throughout the project of that, I was heavily submersing myself into YouTube, podcasts, and all the things, books, all
YouTube
of that.
University, huh?
I mean, honestly, really. I wasn't even listening to music at the time. I literally had my AirPods in when I was pumping gas, when I was painting, when I was watering the plants, when I was making food. I was fully submerged.
Yeah, take that laser focus.
Just all in. Yeah. And I was listening to a podcast. I don't remember who it was that said it, but they had talked about getting their real estate license, and I decided at the time that maybe I should too.
Did you? So, what books did you read in order to get up to that point? Did you read any books that inspired you within that time?
I literally have listened to so many. I can't even pinpoint one in particular. Okay. I just back to back to back to back. So I don't know if you guys know this, but here locally in Vegas, you can go to the library and get a library card, and through that, you can get a free app that gives you access to all the audiobooks.
What's the app called?
I believe there's two, but I really only use one. It's called Libby.
Okay, nice. Libby people, go ahead and tap in with Libby.
Honestly, it's it's not even an investment. Just go get a library card and go do it.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
All my friends that I know that like to read, which aren't very many, honestly, audiobooks are they're just a game changer for me. It was.
I would have to say my favorite book of all time probably is Think and Grow Rich, of course. That was just got me into the mindset. Then Rich Dad Poor Dad was my like, I kept it in my pocket. That was what book I read everywhere I went. So I read every part of his series. So Rich Dad Poor Dad, I got to give him some props. And then
listen to all of those.
All of them. Yeah, and then the last one I would say.
If you're not a reader, listen. Just listen.
Oh, yeah, you can listen to your books for sure.
You can't always control who's around you, but you can control who's around you. And if you can't, still go put yourself in that environment by just submersing yourself into a story. Yeah. Because, like, for me, I have my parents that are in real estate, but not too many of my own friends were in real estate as far as investing goes. Mm-hmm. So when I just had a little bit of a peak of interest, I just jumped right in. And it's one way to really have a paradigm shift, if you want to put it that way, because you are listening to stories of people who have done it. Right. And these are experts. These are people who have experience, and you get to learn from them.
That's what I like about books.
Right.
It's like you can learn
A
from
lot
people
of
that
hidden
passed away
gems.
and people that aren't
Yeah.
here no more, people that really documented and journaled their knowledge. And if you just read the book, you can soak up all that
And
information.
you don't have to read it either.
Yeah.
Because some people just can't read books, like especially the books that we read, they're big. Just listen.
Yeah, for those who can't read, go ahead and cop those
If you
audibles.
can't read or you won't read, just listen to a book. Because not only are you doing yourself a favor, you're doing the whole species of humanity a favor. Because what would it hurt to have another smart human being walking on the earth?
That's love. I love it.
Months of, lots of work, a lot of work, and I basically threw myself into YouTube, and I didn't even listen to music during this time. I was just fully submerged into YouTube and podcasts and all the things. And someone I listened to, I don't even remember who it was, talked about how they got started in Airbnb, and then they also had their license, and I was like, oh shit, I think this is a light bulb.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, well, I'm kind of in a turning point in my life where I was in between careers, and like I just made a total 180 shift, and I decided, you know what? I want to get my real estate license.
Oh, so that's how you started. Yeah, that's kind of similar to my story. I started off in wholesaling. So before that, I was doing business acquisitions. I was buying and selling businesses. But wholesaling has always been something that sparked my interest in a way. Back in the days, I took a Rich Dad Poor Dad class, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. But it was during the same time I was playing football, so I had to make a choice. Like, do you just finish out the seasons or do real estate? So I actually chose to finish out the season until now. Now, I'm a commercial realtor and investor. I mean, it all started with wholesaling. All started with no money, being a hustler, doing calls, and getting used to the terminology of the industry, getting used to the cutthroat business of the industry. And I mean, now going forth, I see exactly what was beneficial for you and for me to get our license and start there, because you kind of immerse yourself in the industry. You get to meet investors, talk to buyers, talk to sellers, and it makes it way easier for somebody just trying to jump in the game with no knowledge or no prior experience, right?
But you know what, though? I really did jump into it with not that much
Yeah.
experience, because it's just an Airbnb. Like, yeah, it was a big project, but once I got into real estate, I realized I mean, I guess I thought I was going to jump in a pool, but I fucking got
Did you
thrown.
think you was going
I
to
got
hit a
thrown
million
in
with
the
the
deep end of
Airbnb?
the ocean. That's what real estate is.
Right.
And I really got smacked in the face with that. I did not have a clue what I was jumping into, but I did. And I actually don't regret it.
Yeah.
It was a challenge, and everyone has this idea of what real estate is. They see all the shows. Yeah, there's a lot of drama.
So what kind of like mindset did you have to develop in order to withstand the hard times of real estate? Because I know a lot of people right now are struggling in real estate.
Yeah.
A lot of people hopping out the game, especially because the regulations and the rules change.
Most people quit the first year.
Right, 100%.
Because it's not easy.
What changed that for you? What kind of mindset did you have to develop for that to be able to stick with it?
I'm not a quitter.
I like that.
I've built businesses. I've been in business my whole life, so it's like something I understand, that things take time. To build a business takes time, and when you get your real estate license, you are building a business.
100%. Yeah.
So it just takes time.
I think a lot of people get that confused, though. A lot of people don't
Well, the
realize
reason
the
why
business
is
part.
because most people get into real estate coming from another job. So
Right.
they're getting paid by the hour, and then you jump into real estate thinking, I'm going to be making these big ass checks. Yeah, you might eventually, or you might just make one transaction the whole year, and then you're waiting for months and months and months.
So talk more about that.
You don't know when that next check's coming in.
Talk more about that. Talk more about the business of the real estate game, because a lot of people, like you said, they do come in with the employee mindset. They go to these agencies, or they get discouraged by the investing part of it, because you actually have to run it like a business. You actually have to deal with property managers, market yourself. You got to be able to hop on the calls and do certain things that you don't want to do and brand yourself. Like really get out there and build your image and build your brand. So tell me a little bit more about how you're doing that, building your business and building your brand.
So when I got my license, the first thing I did was get some business credit. 'Cause
Okay,
I
nice.
knew
Finances.
it was gonna cost money to get in the game. You got to pay your realtor fees. You got to pay this and classes and that and this and that and one and the other. And for the whole entire year, you're taking all these classes. So technically, for the first year, you're still learning.
Oh yeah.
Because when you get your license, as you know, to go through the class, it's like that. The hard part is passing the test, but once you pass the test, you're in. It's not that hard to get into real estate. You just got to pass a test, really.
And then you got to keep learning after that
And
because
then you
the
have to
learning
keep
does
learning
not
after
stop.
that. But the learning, you have to pay for the learning.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap. And so you're also trying to make money and learn at the same time. So it's like you're a full-time college student and then you're trying to hustle at the same time and you're working on commission only. So that's usually how it is, unless you have some type of a special arrangement. That's how it is.
Right. Yeah. I mean, would you say that starting as an agent is the best way to do it, or would you say that like going right into the investing part of it was better? Because I know you did both of them. So
I think it depends on your own circumstances.
right.
For me, it just made sense because I was just at a place where I was like, well, I don't, At the time, though, when I decided to get my license, I was running a vending machine company, and I didn't love it, so I was trying to like get out of it, and I did that for a few years, and here we are. But for a typical person, it really just depends on your circumstances.
All right. What would you say for a new investor or somebody that was looking into the industry? What's the first and the best place to start?
That's a good question. Pause.
Thanks.
I need a water break anyways.
Yeah.
Let me think about that. What do you think it is?
I think the best place to start is to become an agent. Honestly, at first I didn't. I was totally against it. I was like, let me wholesale. Let me just jump in the water and let me just get some deals in my hand. But being able to broker certain deals kind of gave me that cushion to make money as I invest and then reinvest my income. Because I think a lot of people try to jump in and thinking that they're going to make this shitload of money right off top, which it's a struggle. Like you said, you got bills to pay. And if you got kids, that's even another expense for you. Yeah. So I would say the first place to start, definitely education. And there's no education like real estate. It's actually a university for people that want to just get in this industry and learn and be involved and hands-on versus going to school or, you know what I mean, like doing that type of thing. Or bumping your head or losing your money. So,
you don't need to go to college anymore. You can get all the information you need on the internet.
Go get your license. You can get a license. There's specialties nowadays. So I think that's probably the best way to start. I think hopping in, getting your license, learning the game, and then taking what you learn or taking what you make and reinvesting it, becoming a value investor instead of a speculator or a middleman in a way, because you start off as a middleman always. That's how you become resourceful. You go out, you network, you meet as many people you can, you make the connections, and then you find the deal. And then you plug the deal, the investors in your network with the deals, and you gonna make your money. But in order to become an investor, you have to learn the value of property. You got to know the terminology. You got to know what's a good deal and what's not a good deal. Like ARVs and cap rates and NOIs there's so much different terminology that people they skip over.
It's learning a new language.
Yeah, it's learning a new language.
That real estate book is like this big.
Yeah.
Like this big.
And you don't want to get into something and not know the language, because language is what people use to manipulate in a lot of industries.
And to make deals. So if you sign on something and you don't know what that means, you're probably fucked.
So I hopped right in my books. I was like when I got in the industry, I would say I was on and off for a long time. I didn't really, my dad was in real estate. He sold property. That's kind of what sparked my interest. But I always went back to my hustle. I always went back to my other businesses, things that make quick money. And I didn't have to actually stretch myself as much. It's always been in the back of my mind to do real estate, but I was always shying away, tiptoeing until I walked into the office and I started talking to my broker, my current broker at Peace Realty, and we was just like, yeah, let's do this. Like, what's the procrastination for? Sometimes you need somebody behind you to open your eyes and make you see certain things that you wouldn't if you wasn't looking for it. You know what I mean? So once that happened, I was all in. I said, I'm not gonna half-ass nothing. I was already selling cars. I was already had other businesses. I was already doing multiple businesses and multiple ventures, but I've never got the most results than when I just focused on one thing and just immerse myself and put my whole self into something.
Yeah.
And now that's what I said I was going to do with this industry. And it's been the most fulfilling thing that I've done, because not only am I able to build generational wealth, because I can't pass my gym down to my kids. I can't pass my hookah lounge down to my kids. They're not going to know how to manage it. They're not going to know how to run it. But I can hire a property manager for a property and keep that cash flow coming in and flowing into a trust for my kids for the rest of the lifetime. So, and for the generations of our last name. So, when I seen the longevity and the certainty of real estate, I was like, shit, there's nothing else. Like, it made the most millionaires. Are you gonna go create something, this esoteric idea of something that might work for some fast money, or are you gonna go for the longevity for sure money?
Right.
So I went for the fortunes, and that's what landed me into real estate. I just said fuck it for real, and this is kind of like where I'm at, and I don't see nothing better than this asset. So what we doing now is like building our brand, which I said our business is the everything. It's building the brand is the most thing. When people see you, they gotta trust you, they gotta know you, they gotta like you. Your credibility is everything in this industry, and any aspect of the industry. So
I think we definitely had an upper hand though, because we grew up in this city.
Oh yeah,
so
for
we
sure,
knew a
100%.
lot of people
Yeah.
already. We already knew. So
Yeah.
these networking events, like, hey, bring
Everybody
some
you
friends,
already
no
know,
problem.
yeah.
People show up. People
Yeah.
show up. So that's cool. But no, I didn't really get the push from anyone on the outside. It was kind of like an internal thing with me, but I was already in a pivot and I knew I had to make a change. It kind of just presented itself.
But that pressure made you move.
It was the pressure.
Yeah. Something made you move. It motivated you to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
What's that? Like, what's the reason that you just dove in? Because you go hard. Like I seen people work, but then you could tell the separators from the people that actually really want this, and the people that just are interested in this. The people that are committed and the people that are interested. Like what made sparked your fire in you to
I think what
go as hard as you do?
was I didn't have, besides my parents, I don't really know too many people that are in real estate investing or that have like rentals. I have like a few family members. Everyone like owns a house, right? But no one really gets to, oh, I'm gonna buy an investment property. I don't really have those conversations on the daily basis. So when I was in a point where I was like, shit, I gotta move out of this house. What am I gonna do with this place? Like, it's fully furnished. I lived there, so it was beautiful, obviously. And I was like, well, I don't want to sell all this stuff. Like, it's good. Like, it's perfect how it is. I just like cleaned it up a little bit, 3 months a little bit, but I turned it into an Airbnb. I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. So are you money motivated or purpose motivated?
Both.
Both. Yeah.
Yeah.
So money motivates you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have a money goal in this industry?
I have kids.
Yeah.
So when you have kids and you're in your right mind, money motivates you because kids cost money.
Yeah.
Kids are expensive.
Okay. What about purpose? How important is purpose to you?
Oh yeah. So here's another story. So I'm dealing with this probate client right now, and this is my first probate client. She called me one day, and she was actually crying, and she was just telling me how grateful she was that I was helping her, because her father passed away, and she lived across the state or across the country, and she didn't have anyone else there on the ground willing to go in there and walk through the property and guide her through the process and things like that. And that actually made me feel a certain type of way. And I was like, I didn't think it was going to feel this way, but you actually can make it. You can make a huge impact on someone's life. You're not just there to make money. Yes, of course, we don't work for free. Well, technically we do until we close, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of working
That's
for free
business.
involved. Absolutely.
That's business.
Yeah, but you don't get paid until you close. So there's a lot of people that work and just waste time.
Yeah,
Anyways.
that's why I asked I formed the question if you purpose or motivate or money motivated, because if you don't have a purpose and the money doesn't come, you usually quit.
Yeah.
Most people do. They usually pivot to something else that makes money, and that's how you could tell if a person is really here for if they have a quality reason or a quality intention when it comes to this. And to me, like, if you want to be great, like, you could be average and make money. That's what's up. I've done a lot of things and I made a lot of money, but you can't be average and make an impact and make a difference or make a difference in not just your life, but your kids and your family's life, and buy your mama a house or buy your buy your sister a car, put her through college.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I have kids. When I bring them to school, I tell them just do your best.
Yeah.
This is the only thing you have to worry about right now is just go to school and do your best.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you start sports, like my daughter is playing basketball right now and she's doing all the things, do your best.
Right.
That's the only thing you got to worry about. So, like, if you do your best in whatever you do, if you submerge yourself in there and you actually try, you will get results.
Right.
But people don't have the patience to wait, or they just don't try or care enough to really go hard like that.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, work ethic. But how important is work ethic in what you do?
How important is work ethic
Yeah.
in what I do?
Yeah.
It's everything.
Yeah.
If I didn't wake up early, if I didn't go to sleep late, if I didn't answer those calls or those emails and all the things, nothing would ever get done. Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a lot of average people in the world that just want to get by. So the separator to me has always been the hard work and dedication. Like,
Yeah.
And
As far as real estate sales go, but when you talk about investing in real estate, that's different. Let's say you had a lot of money, right? Let's just say you had a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
You would want to invest in real estate. You don't have to go get your license. You don't have to get your license to get into real estate. You can, let's say you did want to get your real estate license, but you didn't know anything about it.
Oh, we about to talk about that. We're going to go into the people with the money, high net worth individuals.
I mean, I don't know. It kind of just happened.
Okay, yeah.
But you don't need to get your real estate license to get into real estate. There's so many ways to get into it. And, I mean, you could be an assistant to a top realtor, literally shadow her or him or her throughout the process, and you learn.
Yeah.
You could do that while you get paid.
So if
That's
you
a
want
job.
passive income, if you got money, you're making money, you're a high performer or a high net worth individual, then real estate is definitely the most passive thing that you could possibly do to make a bang on your buck in a way. Would you say?
Absolutely.
Yes.
There's so many different investment avenues, and I would say absolutely diversify your investments, but real estate is number one. It's number one because not all, but I want to say 90% of millionaires are made through real estate.
Hey. I love that philosophy. One of my favorite books, I would say, is Raising Capital by Thomas Hunter. And that's kind of how I got into raising capital from these high net worth individuals and investing and started our fund to fund, where we invest into funds that have already gotten to the multifamily. They already covered every base when it comes to multifamily and commercial and then mixed use. So let's talk about a little bit about raising capital. Let's touch on that.
Let's talk a little bit about why multifamily.
Why multifamily? I mean, multifamily is, to me, besides owning a business, it is a business at the end of the day, because it creates cash flow. There's multiple separate from residential, where if you have a tenant in a house and they move out, your income stops. But if you have a tenant in a multifamily and one moves out, your income still rolls. There's so much value.
Let's pause right there really quick.
Okay.
Because the entire world, including Rich Dad, Poor Dad, they all talk about real estate, but they are telling people to buy residential properties. And there is a great area to that.
I think it's because it's easy access for people.
I mean, sure, but not really. Buying a house you're buying a house. It's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I just pulled up to my mom's house in a Lamborghini and it costs as much as a house, she's going to say, what the fuck?
Right.
But you're buying a house. And if you were to buy a house that's $300,000, you're going to get a rent that's only a few hundred every month. So for you
After
to recoup
mortgage
that
and
is going to
taxes.
take time.
Yeah.
That's going to be a numbers game always.
Right.
So if you want to think smarter, you're going to think, well, shit. I mean, really quick in the game when I got into Airbnb, I was like, well, hold on. I need to get a housekeeper. I need to get this guy, a mechanic guy, my property manager. Yeah, she manages all these portfolios of houses and all kinds of things. But as the investor, if you can get all the doors under one roof, that's convenience.
Yeah, convenience, tax breaks. Don't talk about the tax breaks.
There's so many.
Yeah, it's
benefits.
a lot of benefits, and I think, like, to me, always the cash flow. I love cash flow. That's the
Right.
only reason why I got into
Because,
businesses.
yeah, and you know what? Yeah, my rental property has been booked, thankfully, because we book it in midterm durations. But there's been gaps in time where, oh, well, 2 weeks at a time, it was totally vacant. And I was like, well, that's kind of scary. Because if you don't find someone, to jump right back in that door, it's not going to pay for the mortgage. It's not going to pay for the property tax. It's not going to pay for everything.
For the average person, how would they get into investing into multifamily and commercial properties or assets with those units that produce like that? What's the first step for them, would you say?
You would have to find a professional.
Invest with a professional.
Getting into real estate, for me as an example, I was already living in a house that was already furnished. It was perfect to put it out on the market, let someone else use it. Okay, I'm done with it. And that was that. And then you can just go move on to the next house that you upgrade into, furnish it, live in it for a while, done with it, rent it out. You could do that kind of thing and kind of domino effect it. But, fuck, what was I going?
Is that scalable though? Is that like a scalable model, would you say? Because I mean, if you're an investor and it's one thing to buy a house and live in it and get the appreciation from the house or rent it out to somebody else.
This is just one technique that you could use if you're going to be investing in single family residences.
Right. So why invest in multifamily, would you say? Or how do you start investing in multifamily?
So general public believes that you should buy a single family home. That's the American dream. That's what we're being told.
Right.
Right? It's like propaganda. I mean, yeah, you want to buy a house. I love beautiful houses. I want to have a house. Yeah, sure. But the more that I'm learning about real estate, and especially in multifamily, it only makes sense. And even if you're going to buy your first property, to get a fourplex. Why wouldn't you want to buy a property that will make you money in return?
And that's crazy because you can actually get a FHA loan, like a regular conventional loan for a fourplex. You just got to live in one of the units, and then you can rent out the rest of the unit. I think that's a great strategy for somebody that's just getting started.
For someone that's just getting started.
Yeah, and then scaling
and there's so
from
many
there.
programs out there where you literally need no money. I mean, yeah, you need credit.
How'd you start? How'd you start investing in multifamily? I heard you're this real estate mogul now. So how'd you start investing in real estate and multifamily real estate? Tell the people.
Pause. We haven't done that yet.
We have done that. We have a whole $200 $20 million.
Tell that story. Then,
I'll tell the story.
You'll be better at answering that.
Yeah, I'll tell the story.
Hold on, we were getting on another point. I don't even know if I answered it. Why multifamily? Was that the question?
Yeah.
So why multifamily? So many different avenues.
How do you get started? You have to find a sponsor.
You have to have a professional.
A professional. You invest with a professional, and you bring your skill set to the table versus it be raising capital or it be finding the deals and so what would you tell the people that's just getting started in the real estate industry? What's something that you can give as advice for somebody that's just getting started?
Well, number one, there's so many ways to get in. You don't need a license, and you don't even really need money. Just get in. Just get started, right? But number two, also educate yourself. And you don't want to be in the position where you are in a big hole either. So have the supports, get educated, and just do it. Just get started. Whether it's single family or it is investing in multifamily with somebody like us, just get started, because 30 years down the line, you're not going to regret it.
Yeah. You heard the lady. Get started, take action, and don't wait. There's always a way, and there's always a avenue for you when you have the will and the perception or the persistence to have what you want in life. You just have to take that first step. And even if that step is creative or resourceful, if it's starting from zero and started with no money, you can start. Open up a book, learn the steps that you need to take the action, and go from there. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. We got more things dropping on real estate investing, entrepreneurship, and business. So let's get it. Thank you.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Know he a genius, he just can't claim it. Cause they left him no platforms to explain it. He frustrated, so he get faded. But deep down inside, he know you can't.